CBS 46 News presents Public Affairs on Peach.
And good Saturday morning, everyone. Welcome to Public Affairs on Peach. I'm Bobby Capel. We have done several shows on the presidential race, but there are several other items on the November 8th ballot, as you may not know as much about them. One of those amendments that would allow the state to take over low-performing schools is called Amendment 1, and it would allow the state of Georgia to create what they are calling an Opportunity School District. CBS 46 education reporter Astrid Martinez digs deeper into the issue.
Now, school leaders say that the government is looking at whether or not students are at grade level, but if they looked at student growth and improvement, they say the results would be impressive. Dozens of schools in Georgia are not making the grade. DeKalb County is one of them, so the district went to work to help those struggling schools.
We've invested over $6 million into the care package for those schools.
The county did that because 26 of their 137 schools scored a failing grade on state tests. If Amendment 1 passes, which is on the November ballot, those schools could be taken over by the state.
To help those students that have been failing for decades.
Money is being spent on television ads voicing support for both sides of the argument.
A political takeover of our public schools by politicians.
Amendment 1 gives the state the power to change staff, budget, and the curriculum of failing schools.
The status quo isn't working. It clearly hasn't been working for these kids. And how much longer can they wait for these systems to turn their acts around and for these schools to come out of the failing status?
Superintendent Dr. Stephen Green does not support Amendment 1 and says it's not a good way to assess his district, which has a lot of students who are transient.
As a result of the challenges that they face, it starts financially, but it spills over into other kinds of things, health concerns and transiency, moving around, etc., just to make ends meet.
Green has been with the district 1 year and is addressing achievement issues, putting money towards after-school tutoring, additional staff, and bonuses for teachers willing to work in challenging schools. Green says he's seeing results.
We have 15 of the 26 schools that are within 5 points of that threshold, but we're looking way beyond that, not just to get to 60, but what their progression and the rate of progression needs to be to continue.
That progress should continue uninterrupted, said Green. Come November, voters will be the ones to decide. In DeKalb County, Astrid Martinez, CBS 46 News.
And our thanks to Astrid for that report there. You've probably seen the ads for and against the amendment bombarding you anytime you turn your television on. So let's dive into the debate with State Representative Mike Dudgeon of Johns Creek and Lisa Marie Haygood of the president of the Georgia Parent-Teacher Association. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Let's start with you, Representative. You support this?
Yes.
Why?
I think it's a moral imperative. As a state legislature, I took an oath that every child get a free and adequate public education, and unfortunately, this is not the case. There are schools that are failing and repetitively failing, and the kids who are there deserve something different. If their local systems are unable or unwilling to make a difference and do something different in that school to get them out of a failing cycle, then the state has, I think, a moral imperative to intervene and try something different.
Lisa Marie, you oppose this measure. Tell us why you do.
We do oppose the measure, and it's because we don't believe that the enabling legislation actually addresses anything to change student performance. We think that there is more place for communities in schools and for addressing the systemic poverty and problems that cause these children to fail to begin with.
Do you have concerns that specifically if this were to pass, this would leave parents more out of the loop when it comes to creating a curriculum for their own kids?
Absolutely we do. In this day and age, we have to trust the local elected officials. They're in our community, they worship with us, they know our schools, they know our people, and we believe that the local unit control is the best place to make that decision. The state taking over the schools hasn't worked anywhere that it's been tried. It's been tried in many places, in Louisiana, in Tennessee, in Michigan, and it's failed dismally, and those schools are being returned to public control.
Representative, how do you respond to critics like Lisa Marie who say it hasn't worked in other places? Why would Georgia be different?
Yeah, I'd like to respond to both other places and the parent issue. I have some good numbers, and if you go to Louisiana, which I did with Governor Deal on his thing, his tour, if you go down there and talk to those people, they will tell you it worked. You talk about grade level going from the 30% to 60%, graduation rates going from the mid-50s to the mid-70s. I do believe it's working in those places, not in every single school, but it's working in many places. And the parent control issue, I believe, has been totally misrepresented. The goal of the Opportunity School District will be to empower the local community with a local board per school to get more direct control from the community right around that school. And these large urban districts If we really think that there's a lot of parental control in a larger district with a bloated central bureaucracy which is making the decisions, that's just a smokescreen. The goal of this, the goal of the OSD superintendent will be to get true local at the school level, not at the large bloated district level, to get true school level control to make a difference.
There's no doubt that there are some school districts and schools specifically that need improvement. What would you propose as an alternative to this to get those going, if not this?
Well, one of the things that the Vote for This Amendment campaign has addressed is the pipeline to prison, and they say that our kids by the 3rd grade can be identified as not being able to succeed in life. I think we should focus on things like addressing preschool for children. We should focus on addressing these families in all of the schools that they're proposing to take over are 80% free or reduced lunch. They are families of minority. We have many single parents who are working 2 and 3 jobs to care for their children, and when school lets out for a fall break or a spring break or something like that, there are child care issues, and instead we propose that the school districts focus on providing enrichment opportunities for the kids during that time, providing and making sure that they have medical clinics and care needs met if they are sick or if they have hearing or sight issues, so that they're addressed at the school. We also think that the very best teacher on earth couldn't teach through hunger or through poverty, and if children have a breakfast, a lunch, a dinner, and community support through civic organizations that are willing to step in and mentor and encourage and coach people, then you'll see success in the schools. We're seeing those changes now.
We are just getting started here on this discussion. We will have more right after the break.